Good day everyone, I am Aztine from STEM 12 Desli. So for today, before I start discussing, I first have a riddle. More of like a clue about my favorite molecule. First clue is it's shaped like an outstretch and its properties are kinda awesome. Well, let's rephrase that thing. It's not kinda awesome because it's awesome. And lastly, it takes up to 3/4 of the Earth's surface. Well, yeah, I know that you have an idea about what is my favorite molecule. So my favorite molecule is a water. Imagine Earth without water, life without it. We found and see it everywhere, in atmosphere or even below our feet. In fact, water is vital to existence of life, of every species in our planet. Well, I would share my thoughts about or knowledge about what makes water so unique and what are these awesome properties of water. So, let's move on. I have mentioned earlier the shape of water and the fact that it is polar. It has one very electronegative oxygen that is always trying to keep the electrons closer to it than to hydrogen it is bonded to. This actually gives the oxygen a slightly negative charge because of the electrons that are spending more time next to it, and it gives the hydrogens a slightly positive charge. These bonds among the water molecules are hydrogen bonds, and these very bonds are what allow water to do these things it can do, which our talk would be about. Have you ever looked up a tree, a really high tree, and ever wondered how this tree get all the water way up there? Well, let's talk a little about plants, specifically the xylem. It is its vessel within in a certain type of plant, especially trees. Of course, this vessel transport water. But what's really neat about water is that it sticks to the xylem walls in what is known as adhesion. This helps fight gravity. But water molecules with hydrogen bonding, they also bond to each other in something called cohesion. It is almost a beads on a string, kind of, as water molecules evaporate from leaf and next water molecule in line is pulled upwards and so on. Cohesion. It is really something, because this is also the reason that water striders, one of my favorite insects, can skate onto water. Cohesion contributes to the surface tension of water. Water actually has quite a bit of surface tension compared to other liquids. And it's not just water striders that can walk on water, but there's a lot more, like spiders and even other animals, especially reptiles. And if you want to know more about animals who skate on water, well, you can just go to Google. The water being polar, it is also powerful solvent than the other molecules. It means it can dissolve other molecules, especially polar molecules and ionic compounds. It is important because it is mostly used solvent. Now, let's think about other countries who experience wintertime. Well, of course, talking about winter, bodies of water on those places freezes. As someone who had no idea would think that water animals, specifically fishes, dies there. Well, that's what they know though, but no, it's not. They're definitely fine there. Relating to that, under the ice layer of a frozen bodies of water, most substances actually contract when they freezes and become more dense. But water expands when it freezes, and becomes less dense when frozen, of course, resulting in floating ice where it can actually make an isolated surface layer that makes a difference for many organisms. This is due to hydrogen bonds. At freezing level, the breaking and reforming of hydrogen bonds, which is happening often, is not happening. And the molecules just enough far are set into the lattice of hydrogen bonds, which is less dense in ice form than water form. Speaking of temperature, water resists changing its temperature. It has that what is called high specific heat. Specific heat is a measurement of heat that needs to be absorbed or lost for a 1 gram of substance to charge its temperature by 1 degree. That's why on our first day that school is out in summer, well, before pandemic, it may be super hot outside, but the water can still be pretty cold. Well, that's good because it is stabilizing for aquatic environment temperature. Yet it also means that water can absorb a lot of heat on the summer without hitting its high of temperature itself, which is useful for countries who experience winter because the water can release heat as it cools down in the winter. Still, on the topic of temperature, consider evaporation. Many animals rely on evaporation to cool them. Water molecules, they are moving out those that more energy. They are moving faster or fastest. They are more likely to make the phase to change to gas. As these molecules leave, the energy on their heat is no longer on their skin. And it is not just animals but on plants too. They use it to cool them in hot temperature. Well, all the things that I have discussed are my thoughts and knowledges about my previous lessons. Of course, there are some additional infos from other platforms I reviewed on. Well, that's it on my thoughts about water. I'll see you next time. Bye!